When it comes to studying Japanese, one of the most daunting parts of learning the language is kanji, depending on who you ask. Kanji characters are Chinese characters that convey meaning and are very, very important when you're learning Japanese. They can be very complicated, but not always. And I am going to be using my kanji o oboeru jisho, or my dictionary to remember kanji. And I am going to fill my notebook with these kanji. In my dictionary, it gives you all of the kanji from grades 1 to 5 that children learn in Japanese. And this is the very first entry, and the onyomi, or some of the readings for this kanji, are ichi and itsu. Next up are the kunyomi, and these are 2 more readings. And let me know if you're interested in learning about the difference between onyomi and kunyomi. And the 2 kunyomi are hito and hitotsu. And in hitotsu, there is a dot in between hito and tsu. And that is because when we write it out, we will write the kanji for hito, and then we write the hiragana for tsu beside it. It does sound a little complicated, I know, but once you get the hang of it, it is not difficult at all. And then let's go into the meanings of this kanji character. This is probably the most simple kanji character just because it's only the 1 stroke. I think that also helps to understand the meaning of it because it's just 1 stroke, hint, hint. So there are a total of 5 meanings for this kanji. And the first meaning is hitotsu, or 1. I feel like that's pretty easy to remember. 1 stroke, 1 meaning. The second meaning for this kanji is hajime, or the first, or start, depending on how you think of it. The third meaning for this kanji is subete, or all, or everything. Now these meanings aren't like the end-all be-all. There are different meanings for different kanji, and there could be extra meanings for this one, but I do think these 5 cover a lot of ground. The next meaning is sugureteiru, or the best. And finally, the last meaning is hon no sukoshi, or just a little bit. And then we are going to get into some compound words in just a second. When we're dealing with compound words, it's very important to know both the onyomi and the kunyomi because they are our clues as to how to read these compound words. It's very tricky. Also, I will admit that my handwriting is not the best, especially when it comes to writing kanji characters. However, the more I do this, the better I will get. So this is very good practice for me. So I will say if like a kanji character looks especially ugly in my handwriting, I will point it out. But let's get into some compound words. So I'm going to write a couple examples from each meaning because I feel like just knowing the meaning isn't enough. You kind of need to be able to see it in action to really understand what it means. And this one's an ugly kanji, I'm so sorry. But the very first kanji is ichigyo. I put a little dot in between the reading of each kanji just to be able to separate them. So the first one is ichigyo, which means 1 line or a line. Next up, another example for the meaning of hitotsu or 1 is ichimai. Now, mai is a counter for flat objects. So you could say you have 1 piece of paper, and that would be ichimai. I know it's complicated, But yeah, all you can do is memorize it. I'm sorry. But moving on, for the second meaning, which is hajime or first, our first compound word is another ugly one, I'm sorry, but it is ichaku. Ichaku. I did miss a stroke at first, but I went back and I fixed it. It's a little bit ugly, but that's okay. Ichaku means the first to arrive. So like if you're in a race and you're the first one to win, you're ichaku. You're the first, you're the fastest. And the second example for hajime or first is ichii, ichii, or first placed. So like if you're in a race and you win, you come in first place. You come in ichi. They are kind of similar in meaning, which can be a little bit confusing. And then our first example for the third meaning, for the subete or for the all meaning, is issai, issai. And issai does actually have quite a few meanings, but for this purpose, it's everything. And then our second example for using this kanji to mean subete or all is ichido, ichido. You do have to be careful with this one because it is not ichido, it's ichido. It's a long vowel at the end, so you have to be careful when you're reading it. And ichido means all of us. Moving on, our first example on a word meaning sugureteiru or best is... I'm sorry, this one's a little bit ugly too, but that's okay. The reading is ichiryu, ichiryu, and this one means world class. So think like a Michelin star restaurant, an ichiryu restaurant. And then our second example of a word that means sugureteiru or the best is sekai ichi. And be careful, this one took me a while to be able to pronounce correctly. It's not seikai ichi, it's sekai ichi. Sekai ichi, meaning world best. And when we're writing kanji, just the same as hiragana, it's very important to use the correct stroke order. Every once in a while I forget and I pause, as you can probably see by my handwriting. But it is very, very important to do everything in the correct order. But moving on, what the first example for the last meaning, which is hon no skoshi, or just a little, is ikken, ikken. And if you look at the kanji, it means one look, ikken, or a peek, just a sneak peek, a quick look. And then the last example for the hon no skoshi, or just a little, meaning of this kanji is... You can see me struggling here. I forgot the stroke order, but that's okay. Isui, isui. So that means one sleep, or a quick nap, a 15-minute nap. Isui, isui. And there's 10 words, all using ichi or one. But that's not all. One more kind of important thing that you should remember when you're learning new words, especially new kanji, is phrases that use kanji. So I'm going to share two pretty commonly, I think, used phrases that use the ichi kanji. And this is isshin ittai. Isshin ittai. So it roughly translates to one progress, one go back. Isshin ittai. And that kind of means to progress and then to go back a little and then to do well and then to do a little bit poorly. I don't know if we have a word directly meaning the same thing in English. But moving on, the second phrase is, I think this is more commonly used than the previous one. It is isseki ni chou. Isseki ni chou. Or one bird, two stones. I feel like that doesn't really need any more explanation. We use that in English all the time. And this was ichi, or one, or any of the other 5 meanings that it has. I hope that this was helpful. Thank you for watching.